Good night. So this will be a microscopic examination of two slides. Were taken from the crucibles that were used with this construction. This construction was intended to elicit the creation of the trend bacteria. But I'm not certain that it was completely. I'm not certain. Like we have done everything, the best way possible. Let's see the results. I was maybe a little confused, specifically with regards to. The question that bothered me, and I referred to it previously, is like, what exactly is the meaning of symbols that are on the symbols of the Nero? Because it can mean all sorts of stuff, and I need to think about it some more, because we see. Because this can be interpreted as either the symbols that are burning the Neros on top of black Nero, bigger one, which means basically kill the Neros or make them dead, and if you and for the trend bacteria, it could be said that we have the smaller trend bacteria that were energized by fire, but then stopped energizing, and then the huge, much bigger one that is energized with electricity. We've checked using the multimeter that actually there is current and voltage. But in the circle, and tremendously more energized. So you can say like the less energetic trend bacteria should become the bigger and more energetic trend bacteria. But on the other hand, it might be two other processes. Like perhaps it means for the Neros, kill the trend bacteria, and for the trend bacteria, kill the Nero, which is not energized. Maybe it's equivalent. So let's take a look and think about it a little later. This was energized for quite some time, for several hours even. And now I switch it off, but it was, probably you can also energize it with AC, because it's got enough resistance. Even though it's just a wire, but it's wrapped in a way that it creates a resistance because of the creation of a magnetic force. So from experience, this, not with that much wire, with more wire actually. If it's about twice as much as wire, it's enough resistance to connect it to an AC circle. But I needed some more of it actually. Maybe I'll find some wire and make it even it's kind of an electromagnet, even though it's very inefficient, I think, because the big radius of the actual trend bacteria. If it was a much smaller radius, and it might have been better, and also maybe decrease the radius of the wire by thinner isolation. Anyway, it was something, and maybe probably we'll use it a little more. So let's see what we have here. The mixtures are pretty solid. I see many small life forms that that are visible by the naked eye, but very, very small. So it's impossible to catch like one and put it on the slide like you can do with slightly larger life forms. So let's take a look, and then we decide how to continue. The soundtrack is something that I recorded under his hostel, courtesy of the neighbors, probably Lasha, I don't know, probably. They played all sorts of music like all around the clock, even during the night, but I developed a taste for that, so I do not blame them too much. I hope you also enjoy it. We don't see much. This is a dead animal. We don't see many Neros. We see dead animals. These are dead animals. These are zombies. Like they are dead. You see they are hollow. These are nice Neros, not dead, but that's a dead train bacteria. So if there was actually a rigorous fight between the Terran bacteria and the Neros in the body of the Titans in the last couple of hours, I don't know, you tell me, it might be actually of great benefit to them, because maybe the Neros actually won, which is great, because it's like a way to, maybe it's something similar to the Ash to Ash trail, which means that maybe they also, they've seen all sorts of like stuff. I mean, you tell me, like the cliffs and the starships, many interesting stuff to be seen. Looks like a dead bacteria body. Like you see, it's kind of like nice. But overall, it's very, very little Neros. Maybe as a reference, we can, after that, I don't have many slides left. I mean, we used so many and I couldn't buy too much last time I was in the shop. I need more slides and more covers. But maybe you can take a reference from the same mixture that was placed in these two containers before the last one, before the last experiment. So where are the Neros? Let's hope that, it's listed in the reference, which contains, again, most of the material, because most of the material I took out, because I didn't want to work on the complete, fleet. So most of it is still here. I burned some of it right now for the outer, experiments, but most of it is here. This is most of the material, actually. So we can watch, if it's better, because this one, for now, we see, it suggests Nero apocalypse. But maybe just, specific sample. This is a dead Neo. Nice. You see, it's a dead Neo. Looks like a dead train here. Right? I'm not sure. Or some other life form that, crashed. It's obviously, a corpse and nice Neros adjacent to it. I mean, we can conclude that there was some kind of a nice, this is a train actually, dead one. So more dead trains. So there was some kind of a fight, I mean, I think. Interesting. I wonder what happened. Like, I mean, maybe it was, friendly. Maybe that's the way to have, maybe they have sex that way and, they enjoy each other's company. I mean, the dead bodies, it's just coincidence. I mean, we shouldn't jump to conclusion, that they fight the same way that we fight. It's kind of like, how do you say, like, egocentric or like, because maybe that's how they enjoy each other's company. Maybe I'm not sure that, I mean, all the dead bodies of Neros and dead bacteria that we see all over the place, I mean, suggest that they were actually, fighting, like, in the literal way. Maybe fighting, in what way? It makes even more sense, actually, that they were, because they both have one is the T and the other, I mean, contains the T in their body. So it makes sense that they, enjoy each other's company. And maybe that's actually what happened, and all the dead bodies and, the general desolation that you see all over the place is just a coincidence, or maybe attributed to some other factor that we need to think about. But I wouldn't say that, I mean, they were hurting each other or something like that. It doesn't make sense to me. Much more makes sense that they are close to each other because they actually enjoy each other's company. Yes, in that way, why not? I mean, it's their right to do it whatever they want. I mean, they're adults, and it's perfectly fine that they enjoy each other's company. The dead bodies, well, I mean, we need to think about it, but I mean, I wouldn't jump to conclusions like of any kind of antagonism between these groups. Probably, just they're enjoying each other. Obviously, the Neros are very, very, well protected and well guarded, and especially well respected by the train bacteria that is known to be, very, like you say, noble animal. So it's a stretch to think that they hurt each other. This is a nice huge Nero. It's a stretch to think that they fight each other. Yes, it's true that we see. I mean, there was like, I wouldn't say apocalypse. It's true that, I mean, there are very little to almost zero small Neros, even though we've seen tremendous amount of these in the past, and there is obvious, like, dominance of huge ones, like this one in 64 magnification. And we do know that, yes, theoretically they can eat other life forms and become bigger. But I mean, to say that they actually fought the train bacteria and eaten it, I mean, and that's why they are so big, to me it's a stretch. Like, it's unscientific, and it doesn't make sense even, in the political sense. Like, makes much more sense that, they enjoy each other's company, and they guard each other and respect each other very, very much. And other things just happen, because things like that happen. So, Anyway, nice. So we're having fun. Obviously, fighting. You know what this means, fighting. So it's kind of like, it's a metaphoric way for, I mean, yes, sex as well, yes. But it's fine that they do it. I mean, you cannot judge them for what they are, and I don't think that anything, malevolent happened. Let's take a look at another slide. Maybe we'll give some more information. And after that, if you're not satisfied with the result, we can take even more slides, more tests, rerun the test, even several months, even years, and see how it goes. Maybe we have different results. Although, I mean, I always had the notion that they actually do that. I mean, because I think I watched it, like, several years ago, like, in an aquarium one time, that I had a very strong intuition based, of course, on distant past, observation that I know that these platforms really like each other. So, I mean, very, very much. They enjoy each other's company. So, the whole kind of, antagonistic scenario, to me, doesn't make any sense. עד אסטרואיד, ועד פתאום מבינים את ההיגיון, פתאום מבינים. לפני האסטרואידים המשיכו יותר. והלשון המופלא, האסטרואיד בו יבוא, יסיים את הסיפור המגעיל, ארצות הברית תושמד, הפה הזה ייסגר, ופתאום המדענים שלהם יגלו כל מיני דברים חדשים. Okay, so this is another slide. As well here we see a little more representation of the smaller Neros. Not tremendous amount, but we see smaller Neros. And we also see trains. These are certainly trains, but they seem to be cut to pieces, right? I'm not sure. Let's go to 160. Like this one is certainly cut to pieces, you see? But what about that one? I'm not sure if it's like, maybe it's having sex with the Nero like on top, I'm not sure. Interesting. Actually very interesting. This is definitely a train. I'm not sure what's the status. Let's zoom in. It's definitely a train. So I think it's safe to say that we see trains like bigger and more, I would say, kind of like, bigger than before and more kind of like, with the exquisite form of the train, like with the sausages. But many of them seem that they are dead actually. And I'm not sure if they're dead or alive. Many seems dead to me. And for some reason it's like near the dead ones are near Neros. And I'm not sure what it means. Like maybe they're not dead, they're just having sex. Maybe it's a metaphor for something. I'm not sure, but it's another train. Very nice actually. Not sure about it. It's a question. So I already tell you that we need to think about it and analyze the situation to see how we continue, because there are many questions that, again, I wouldn't, categorically I would say that, the antagonistic interpretation doesn't make any sense and just, is there to elicit war. So they actually, certainly we can say, pretty much that it's evident that they had sex with each other and enjoyed each other's company. Regarding the compatibility between, these two manifestly different life forms, I would say, who are you to judge? But yes, there is kind of, a morbid aspect to the situation that we need to analyze. Perhaps it's something to do with, maybe psychological, maybe psychology is the way to go, like psychological effects, maybe trauma of the Neros, or like past, abuse of the train bacteria that, could explain, I would say, at least on face value, a little bit of morbid undertone that we see in the results. Maybe. But we see tremendous amount of train bacteria, much more than in any other, slide until now, and this is 64, which means that, generally, yes, we have created a tremendous amount, but also, it seems that, many of them actually died or shredded to pieces, and I'm not sure why. Like, we need to understand why. It's a question, actually. And we don't see the smaller ones, Neros, and I'm not sure why. Maybe, I don't know. No, of course the train bacteria did not. Yes, it's true that the train bacteria contains many neurons in its body, we know it. That's why they have the bicycle mechanism effect of the train. But I think it's irresponsible to assume that it's actually eaten like the small neurons, and that's how it grew. This requires tremendous amount of proof and scientific work. Again, to me, it's makes much more sense that they actually have sex with each other, and that's how they multiply and become bigger and stronger via sexual, procreation. And this is yeast 64 modification. So it's obviously also mutated, but we like mutated yeast. Sometimes we will actually dedicate a study just for this thing. Anyway, yes, so they have sex probably, and a lot, and that's how they go, because the sex is beneficial to both sides. And regarding all the slashed bodies or dead bodies, this and the absence of the smaller ones, we need to think about it, but it's probably something to do, again, related to post-trauma or child abuse. Things that are related to the realm of psychology that we need to understand better before we, we can evaluate the situation. Wow, what a great train. Amazing. Amazing. Look at that one. Wow, it's so nice. It's interesting to see that the trains, many times, they are half like inside something and half outside, but that something doesn't look like Nero many times. Like, it looks like all sorts of other things. And I'm not sure why. Maybe just one likes to be half in here and half there. Like, maybe it's part of the symbology, and part of their own, mythology. If not mythology, then certainly I would say ethos, like the ethos of the train bacteria. Maybe they have like certain ethos, that they follow even subconsciously, or maybe because of some conditioning. I don't know. Okay, interesting. So we saw a tremendous amount of trains, not huge ones, but certainly bigger than before, and with more kind of like, with the distinct sausage look. We also saw we've seen quite a bit of huge Neros, but yes, demonstrably there was much less, tremendously less than before the smaller and medium population. And also there are all sorts of like shredded train bacteria, and we need to understand what's going on with this thing. Again, probably something from the realm of psychology, trauma. I'll suggest, continue the research. Using that approach, which is probably the most, this is another shredded train bacteria, the most beneficial for our kind of, investigation. Okay, so that's it for now. Hopefully, even this night we'll have some more experiments, but I need to think about it. Actually, I will want to continue. Maybe while I think about it, I'll reconnect, this to the electricity so we continue, how it was until now. Let's just do it. And I'll work on the electrolysis in the meantime, which requires less, I pretty have a good idea what I want to do, even though mostly in the upper layer, like in the symbolic layer, I'm not sure how to energize the neurons, but I'll think about it.